Call from mom. Answer it. Call silenced.
Instacart knows nothing gets between you and the game. That's why they make ordering from your couch easy. Stock up today and get all your groceries for the week delivered in as fast as 30 minutes without missing a minute of the game.
You have 47 new voicemails.
Download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Stand by for an urgent bulletin.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Cleveland has no hitters. A bunch of punch and Judy hitters is what we call them in our day. You punch and then you run like Judy.
I say Wimby, Womby, Wambly.
Jeff Lutz.
Yeah, so we're sexist now. That's cool.
We like it.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
It's awesome, baby! Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome a Monday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. We're here for the next 2 hours. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz co-hosting. Max Power producing and engineering. 869-1240 is our phone number. We got a good show for you. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's catch up with Jeff. He had a productive weekend. Took 2 of 3 from the Giants. Got 5 players named to the All-Star team.
Pretty exciting.
You got to feel pretty good about things.
Yeah,
as a Guardians fan.
Got the number 1 pick in 6 days. Hopefully, maybe add something at the trade deadline. Go into the second half feeling strong, and off we go.
Well, there you go. This is full of yourself as you can be.
How am I full of myself?
Oh, I don't know. The rest of us are over here struggling.
Not everybody.
I barely got one guy on the All-Star team. What's that all about?
Helsley, only one?
I mean, we've not been great, but...
Well, who else deserved it? I don't think anybody.
You know, that's a great question.
Although, what's going on with these Phillies relievers? Jeff Hoffman is an All-Star, but I can't get Cade Smith or Hunter Gaddis onto the team.
We're on a different league.
Yeah, the National League must be really hurting for pitching.
It is a little bit.
If we're getting these middle relief guys in there.
Well, they're both really good.
I understand that, but so are Hunter Gaddis and Cade Smith and Tim Herron.
I don't care about them.
I don't care about Jeff Hoffman.
What I'd like is to have seen Mason Wynn get a pick. Now, I certainly understand C.J. Abrams and Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
I don't understand Trey Turner. That's a fan vote. Take the fans out of this.
He got voted in.
Fans are idiots.
It's a fans game.
Take the fans away. Play it in a
where did Mason Wynn finish in the fan voting?
I don't know.
Probably not first.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no way Trey Turner should be the starter. He's been hurt.
Well, he's
not
the starter.
His fault, but this is ridiculous. He should say, and he will, I'm going to bow out. We don't know who's going to be in the All-Star game.
Why would he bow out?
Because I think it's the best thing for him to do.
Well, he's not going to.
That's why.
Why would he do that?
Because he's embarrassed to be a starter.
I doubt it. I bet he's pretty excited.
C.J. Abrams should be the starter. Let's look at our friend Trey Turner. Oh, man, he's having a good year. I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, so there you go.
Neither did you, by the way.
Of course I did.
No, what's he hitting?
292.
335. But he's only played in 51 games.
He's Trey Turner.
What's his OPS?
941.
879. He's been pretty good, so I guess I have to take back. I didn't know he'd been that good. I thought he'd been out for much longer.
He's pretty much that good every year. He's a 298 career hitter, and he's in his 10th year in the big leagues, and he's...
What about Ellie De La Cruz? He steals a lot of bases.
Exciting player.
He is an exciting player. So is C.J. Abrams.
That's what you want in the All-Star game.
And Mason Wynn, the shortstops.
I don't know if Mason Wynn is an exciting player.
No, he's a really exciting player.
Because he throws hard?
Because he's tremendous defensively. He's got good speed. He's a good hitter. He's very exciting. Who do you have at short? Brian Piccolo?
No, he's not a baseball player.
Who do you have?
We got a lot of people.
Rocchio?
Rocchio, for crying out loud.
He can't play.
Well, we don't have to play him there. We got Angel Martinez. We got Daniel Schneemann. We got a lot of young, exciting
Who?
players coming
Daniel
up.
who?
Daniel Schneemann, who had an RBI double yesterday.
Did I ever tell you he'd have been a great character in Seinfeld?
You'd love him on your team. So you can bash him all you want
I'm
and
not
make
bashing
fun,
him.
but you'd really enjoy him, and you'd
Not what
really,
I'm doing.
really
I'm not
enjoy.
bashing him. He's fine. He's Schneeman.
And you'd really, really enjoy Angel Martinez, and you'd really, really, really enjoy John Kinsey
You
Noel.
know what the crowd says when he comes to bat? Look who's hitting. It's Schneeman.
Okay, well, look who's on second base after a double. Schneemann.
Oh, Jeff. I tell you, I had you going the other night at.
No, you didn't. Again, if you think
Money
you
in the
being an
Bank.
idiot is good enough to get me going, if you think that's what really pushes my buttons, then who's the real winner there?
You were so angry at me Saturday
No,
night.
I wasn't. I don't get angry, but you're irritating because you don't know things and you pop off and then just
Who got the women's winner correct?
Scotty.
And
I don't remember.
me. Who was 0 for 2?
Who runs into
You.
an occasional lucky guess once in a while?
Me.
You made 900 predictions during that show. It stood to reason that one
I
of
got
them.
a lot of them right. in
Not
fact.
really.
I got a lot of them right.
Not
Anyway,
even
it was fun.
close.
Had a nice pizza party, and my wife got some donuts for the occasion.
Yeah, it was nice of her.
Your daughter and wife stayed for their customary 30 minutes.
It was a little longer than that.
I wish they'd get into it.
You know, they had to go make a resume or something. I looked at that resume. They did not spend enough time on it.
Really?
No, it's not good.
Well, did you tell them?
Yeah.
Did they redo it?
I don't know what happened. Aaron did something last night with it.
Well, who are you to tell anybody what a resume should look like?
I'm a lot of people. I'm a person who's been employed. I'm a person who writes. I'm a person who's worked close with management and understand what they
You
look
have?
for. Absolutely.
You've worked closely
Oh.
with management.
Of course.
At what job?
Name one.
This one?
Not really.
The previous one?
Yeah.
The previous one before that?
Yeah.
Really?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Why don't you become management?
I don't think I'm management material, but I would like to accelerate my
I'm not. I don't.
movement.
I don't know if I am either, and unfortunately I'm a manager. But you do the best you can.
I think you're doing fine.
Yeah, I don't take direction very well. There's so many insecurities, and they mask themselves and they come out as securities. You know what I'm saying? So I was
don't.
thinking
Try
about
to-
this the other
Try to
day.
put that into words.
If I were to write an autobiography, I'd spend a lot of time on that topic. Just the massive amount of insecurity I have that really doesn't come through because I've learned how to.
No, it does. If you know you well enough, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does, and that's okay.
What, you act like you're some secure guy?
I think I'm more than you.
Really?
I think so.
You think you're more secure than me?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I've gotten over a lot of my stuff. Not all of it,
Oh,
but a
really?
lot of it.
You've gotten over it.
A lot of it.
When did
I
you
think
get over it?
I think I project confidence
When
generally.
did you pronounce yourself over it?
Just think over time it's lessened. There's no need to care about stuff like that anymore for me. Not that some of it isn't still lingering and
Well, I'll tell you
exists.
something else. Insecurity drives me.
Okay, well then good.
It's been the motivating force of my life. And
Why don't-
because it will never completely go away, I'll continue to be driven.
Okay, well that's
I know that doesn't sound like anything you'd want. That's not any kind of a goal for you.
what are
You're
you
not
talking about.
You're not sitting over there going, "Well, that's a real attribute." Thank you. But for
Well,
me, it is.
People approach it different ways. Some people are driven by other things. It's if it works for you, who cares?
I'm driven by my insecurities.
Then
what do you
go
think
for
of
it.
that?
Well, then just don't.
They drive me.
Then don't project them onto others, and you'll be fine.
What have I projected?
Just telling you not to.
When did I do that? Give me an example.
I'm not telling you you have or you haven't. I'm just saying don't.
Huh? What would that even look like?
That's for you to determine.
So you make this comment, but you're not
See,
willing.
this is you projecting.
Oh, this is projecting.
Yeah.
This is projecting
And
my
telling me that
insecurity.
I'm insecure and all this stuff, and don't do
No,
that.
I'm not telling you you're insecure.
You're more so. You think you're more.
I'm asking you to tell me how I project
You just did it.
my insecurity.
You're doing it right now.
That's a projection of my insecurity?
Very much so.
By
Yes.
asking you what a projection would look like?
No, you're doing it right now by trying to act like you're not being aggressive when you really are, and it's just like I see through that stuff, and
You see through it?
and it doesn't do anything for me. If you want to have an honest conversation,
An honest conversation?
Yeah, this isn't honest.
How would it start?
I don't know.
I try to have honest conversations with you all the time. I get 3-word responses.
All right, well, let's try it
No, I don't want to.
Right here in-
I always do that.
right here in front of the
You
world.
know, okay, I'll give you one.
All right.
All right? I won't tell you what the conversation was about.
Are you going to embarrass me?
No, not really embarrass you. I have to go back. We text each other a lot.
Because sometimes,
Because
know-
I open up quite often to you.
and I try to help you
Nah. To some degree.
to a lot of degrees.
To some degree.
I think more than some.
And
And,
Okay, here's
and
one.
it's not always.
I said this. Okay, read that. You don't have to read it out loud. It's very personal.
Right.
And the response I got was, I understand, just have to be as supportive as possible. Which is okay. It's fine. It's okay. But it's not one I read and go, man, I feel better now. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, it's for your. I'm not going to guide you through life.
So
but-
what I'm dealing with in my life right now, several things. We don't need to go into them, but one in particular is very hard.
I get it.
And
as I said, I
At
understand.
at times it boils over, or my concern runs over, and I reach out to you or maybe another friend, and I don't know.
Well, then don't be afraid to feel your emotions. Don't feel like you have
I'm not
to.
afraid to feel my
don't
emotions.
feel like you have to be strong all the time, or that
I don't
you.
feel like I have to be strong
that
all
you have
the time.
to- that
That's
you have-
not strong. That's not strength. Here's what I'm going through.
I know, but I know that maybe
You know?
around some people that you might feel like you need to project this. I got to be this strong rock emotionally,
Not really.
and you don't.
That's not really what I
necessarily-
do.
Then why do you ask for advice, or why do you come
I don't
to me?
ask for advice. I don't ever ask for advice.
Right, so I try not to give you any.
I don't know. You do fine. Here's what we have on the show today. Lincoln Cure, tight end from Goodland, Kansas, one of the best football prospects in America. He recently committed to Kansas State University, and we've got Lincoln on the show, 6'6", 235, and I look forward to talking to him about coming from Goodland, of all places. You know, that's we think of Goodland as being the final outpost in the state of Kansas.
They play 11-man.
Sure they do.
They're like 3A, yeah.
Of course
I don't
they
know what these schools are all
Goodland's-
dropping out of.
Goodland's got a population.
Yeah, it's a nice little town.
They've been Goodland's been a thing for a long time.
I understand. I get it.
I mean, it is
Didn't he used to
almost
go
the
to a-
last stopping point. It really is. I think there's a town called Canorado as you near the border.
That's
But
an
Goodland's in the
appropriate
Mountain
name.
Time Zone.
Sure is. Is Colby also?
Yes.
Colby's one.
Colby,
Home of our friend Jamel Holoparik.
Colby, Goodland. We'll look forward to talking to Lincoln Cure at 2:25. At 2:45, our guest is Paul Sulentrop from GoShockers.com, Strategic Communications. He recently did his top 10 highlights of Shocker athletics for the most recent school year, And we'll go through that with Paul and get his thoughts. What might be the highlight of 2024-25? Early guess. What would be the
For
highlight?
me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't
A
know.
return to the NCAA tournament for Shocker men's basketball.
Or Shocker men's baseball. They've been doing okay in the transfer portal. It seems
It's so hard to know.
It is hard to know, but they've gotten guys from Power 5. They got a guy from Miami today. So I don't know.
I don't know
It is
anything. I don't know
impossible
how
to
you
know.
can predict it. I am not a transfer portal guy. I don't follow it. I wish I had time. I just don't.
Well, it's hard to follow.
But back in the day, I would have.
Maybe. It's pretty difficult.
Well, there's a way to follow it. You just got to be invested in it.
Understood.
Taylor Eldridge follows it.
I try to do as best that I can. I'm not saying I'm any kind of expert.
I don't
but
follow it at all.
I like to see who the Shockers are pulling in from the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. If it drops on my lap on Twitter, I'll look at it. But I don't have time to just zero in on the transfer portal.
I get it.
And then we'll play the Bob and Jeff draft at 3:25. I'm coming off a big win. I just had somebody out here to spray for fleas.
Fleas, what's going on?
And they're still, I don't know what I'm going to have to do. What does the guy do?
I don't know. Do a deep clean.
We've done deep cleans.
Well, then I don't know. I don't know why you have fleas. Is Misty taken care of and okay in that
I
department?
think so. We'll see.
She seems okay. She doesn't seem bothered by
No,
any pests.
Misty's not bothered at all. Misty's fine.
Big week.
Misty gets me. I get her.
What are you doing tomorrow?
What do you mean, what am I doing
You might
tomorrow?
not be on the show.
It's the day after our season ends.
It's a big
Taking
one.
a day off.
That's smart.
And I'll be taking a lot of August off.
Well, I
You better
guess.
prepare for that.
I don't even know why that's necessary.
Because
but
I want to be off.
this is so.
I haven't had no obligation for a while, and I want to see how that feels.
This isn't an obligation. This
It's
is
an obligation.
This is like being off.
I got to book the show. I got to arrange for things. It's right in the middle of the afternoon. I got to make sure everything's good. It'll be nice to have some free time.
Well, me and Jason Duda will carry the load. Maybe whip out the SimGen 2000.
That
Talk some-
that
talk
didn't
some
work the first
football.
time, and it won't work this time.
First time, that was like 8 or 9 years ago. We've been upgrading and enhancing the SimGen for many, many years.
We'll see. Well, I don't care what you do,
Nor
as long as you
should
keep the show somewhat on the rails,
I imagine we will.
so that when I come back, there's a show to come back to.
And if there's not, we went down in a blaze of glory.
There will be
assured of
many
that.
people reaching out saying, "Where's Bob? Where's Bob?" And I'll handle that.
Okay, you handle that.
No, they'll be reaching out to you too.
No, you handle it. I'll pass them off to you. I'll forward all my calls to you.
Okay.
Does that work? No
Why are you
obligations.
in a combative mood?
I'm
today?
not in a combative mood.
You're completely in one.
I don't think so.
Maybe this is just you now.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's just you.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Phil, you don't think you were being combative
Not
earlier?
at all.
Oh, please.
Not at all. I admitted to a weakness, if you want to say
I
it's
know,
a
and we
weakness.
explored that.
Nah, not really. I'll explore it later.
I
With
thought we explored it pretty well here.
we got a Cardinals game starting in about 45 minutes. That's a weird deal.
That's a weird start time.
Playing on a Monday afternoon in Washington, where they've won the first 2 of 3. Boy, there's some things to like about the Nationals. C.J. Abrams being at the top of the list, young shortstop. James Wood looks like a hitter, but man, he's got to figure some things out defensively. He's brutal in the outfield.
That's unfortunate. He's a big guy.
He is a big guy, but he I don't know.
DHing in his future, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't know what the future looks like for James Wood. But they got a couple of pieces. They pounded the ball in one of the games against the Cardinals. The Royals managed to win Game 3 in Colorado yesterday, but lost 2 of 3 to the Rockies. They're off today. They start a brief 2-game series against the Cardinals in St. Louis tomorrow night. And the good news for my team is that we don't have to face Reagan, Singer, or Lugo.
Who
Waka and Marsh,
yeah,
scheduled starters.
probably
for
the
the
two
Royals.
you'd pick if you could pick. Who do the Twins have?
Well, I don't know. I'm not. I don't follow the Twins.
Oh, I looked it up
They
earlier.
got the
and
White Sox
oh,
tonight.
man.
You got Detroit. I mean, there's not a big difference. Do you have to face Scooble?
No.
Well, you got
You
lucky.
got Montero, Maeda, Olson, Flaherty.
Well, you got lucky.
Yeah, he pitched yesterday and dominated the Reds.
They're not really going to trade him, are they?
Scooble?
Yeah.
They should.
Man, that's the building.
Tell me a path to the top 3 of the division that team has, that Detroit has.
With him as the anchor of their starting pitching staff. Develop
How do they surpass Cleveland, Kansas City,
Develop
or
players.
Minnesota?
That's how.
It's just not there. They can't. So trade him, and
No. Absolutely not.
there's no path.
You dream of a pitcher like this coming up in your system.
There is no path.
Trade Flaherty, trade somebody else. Do not trade Tarek Skubal. If they do that, they're not serious about baseball.
Well, they're serious about
You cannot
their
trade.
actual.
They're not the Pittsburgh Pirates trading Garrett Cole. They got to be better than that.
Well, I mean, get ready for 4th for the foreseeable future.
I think they are a franchise that could be much better next year.
How?
I had them a little ahead.
Look
of
at
where
the
they
3
are.
teams ahead of them and how young they are and how good they are already. There's just no path for the Tigers. There's none.
Well, I disagree with you.
Minnesota
Riley Green's an all-star,
Minnesota has Brooks Lee and Royce Lewis.
and Royce Lewis can't stay on the field.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, he hasn't shown that ability yet. They got Riley Green. They got Colt Keith, who's been better. He's not very good yet. They sent Spencer Torkelson down, who's been an abysmal failure. Yeah, they're not in great shape. Some of the young players that they expected to take off really haven't. They need to get Kerry Carpenter back because he's a real deal. Perez looked good early. He's kind of faded. They're in a little trouble
Yeah, they are.
in Detroit.
Trying to tell you.
All right, time for a break. When we come back, Lincoln Cure from Goodland, tight end, headed to K-State after one more year of high school at Goodland. We'll talk with Lincoln Cure next.
Temp check. What kind of summer are we having this year? A family road trip summer? A beach bum summer? Or a wake me when the sun sets summer? With Instacart, choose your own adventure and skip the shopping side quests. Where available, you can get ice cream delivered to your hotel, sunscreen to the pool, or cold brew to your bed. Well, door. In as fast as 30 minutes. Wherever you find yourself this summer, you can get the goods. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
We are joined on the IHOP hotline by Lincoln Cure. He's a tremendous student athlete at Goodland High School in Kansas. He recently committed to play football at Kansas State, a big deal, a 5-star recruit, the first ever for Kansas State football. Lincoln, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. So you've obviously you've become kind of a household name to those of us who follow sports in the state of Kansas over the last few weeks. How's your life changed since you made this announcement of your commitment to K-State?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's been crazy. Just the amount of the amount of people that have kind of been reaching out to me. I've on Twitter, I can't really even scroll past the tweet without seeing my name or something. It's kind of just gone viral all over. But yeah, honestly, once I made that commitment and got a couple interviews out of the way, honestly, this is probably the laziest I've ever been. I've kind of just, kind of been trying to take a break, just, kind of relax and kind of take my mind away from football for a little bit. Obviously, getting back into it tomorrow, we got 7-on-7 in Hayes, so I'll kind of flip the switch. But no, I've kind of just been trying to take a break, since that day I put the hat on.
Does it feel like your recruitment is over? I'm sure in your mind you believe it is, but I know that's not always the way it works. So do you feel like you have any unfinished business, or other coaches have any unfinished business with that process? Or to you, is it just, I'm done?
Yeah. In my mind, I'd like to think I'm done, but, obviously that isn't the case. Coaches are still going to call. And, you always got to consider them because, you never know what can happen with the school. Something crazy could happen in my life or with K-State. You never really know what could go wrong. So keeping those relationships are important, and I'm glad I was able to build relationships that went past football. So that was a big deal to me. But, yeah, I'd say for me, just keeping in contact with these coaches just to do it just because, we've just had really good relationships. But, obviously they'll always still try to recruit me until they sign the paper in December.
Lincoln Kira is our guest, tight end from Goodland, but three-sport athlete as well. And you're really a poster child for the benefits, in my opinion, that competing in three sports can, the dividends they can pay. Also a standout on the basketball court, a hurdler in track and field. How important has it been to you, Lincoln, to be an all-around athlete as you've grown up?
It's been extremely important. I'm a person that kind of likes to do all the things I can. I love all sports. I love to win in everything I do. So, doing that by all means possible. But, that's kind of where my recruitment even started because I didn't have a sophomore football season due to injury. So, just playing basketball and kind of showcasing, and track, showcasing my ability there. Doing the things that I did at my size really attracted coaches, and that's kind of how my whole process started. And then, it took off from there. But, obviously, just doing other sports, doing movements you don't usually do, track, working on your speed, basketball, just working on a lot of things. But yeah, all those sports, they bring in a lot of motions, a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do as a one sport athlete. So I think that's honestly probably one of the biggest things that's helped me in my process was just being a multi-sport athlete. And, obviously I enjoy it. And that's kind of the whole reason why I'm staying my whole senior year is just to go win a state championship in basketball and go get some state records in track is my main objective. So it's been huge for me.
Yeah, you come from an athletic family, but when did you kind of realize that you were maybe beyond the norm? Because you're bigger than a lot of kids, I'm sure, growing up. You're faster, at least now. I'm sure you were growing up too. You have all these athletic skills. When did those start to kind of come into form, and who are maybe some of the people who helped you harness that and put you in the right direction?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say my whole life I've kind of been ahead of the pack. I always kind of noticed that, and that's credit to a lot of people in my life, especially my dad, my older brother. We're a really competitive family. So growing up around my cousins and my brother, and we were always competing, and I was always there was never a time where I wasn't outside or doing something athletically. I was always kind of helping my own case by doing doing sports. So. Yeah, growing up, I was always kind of ahead of the pack, and it wasn't just because I was natural. It was because as a kid, I just made sure I was. I was just my competitive nature. I just wanted to be the best. So, being the best by all means possible is my main objective. But, credit to my coaches, everybody in strength and conditioning, my teammates, my family. Everybody's kind of pushed me to where I am now.
Talking with K-State commit, tight end Lincoln Kira from Goodland, Kansas. I'm very curious about small-town athletes and growing up and how you got into sports. As Jeff mentioned, you come from a family with an athletic background. But to grow to be 6'6" isn't something you had any control over. Tell us about the work you've done and just being a standout athlete in a place like Goodland. Where have you gone to improve your skills and those kinds of things?
Yeah, so both my parents were collegiate athletes, and then obviously a lot of my siblings are also. So yeah, they kind of just got me into sports. From the moment I was born, and kind of developed the love for it there. But yeah, I mean, sorry, I just kind of forgot the question a little bit.
How tall is your dad, and how tall is your mom? How tall are they?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, my dad is he's probably 6'3". My mom was probably 5'9". They aren't as tall now, but I kind of obviously that came naturally, but it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I mean, growing as fast as I did brought a lot of injuries to me, and still kind of bugs my body to this day. Muscles can't really keep up with the bone growth, and it's just caused some problems for me. Like, I'm still kind of dealing with a hamstring issue. Played through last football season and basketball and track with this hamstring issue that I'm still dealing with to this day. So yeah, obviously that's a blessing to be as tall as I am, but no, it definitely doesn't have it isn't the best all the time. So yeah.
What does it feel like to be at this point in your life? Because so few of us get to experience it. You've been playing amateur and youth sports, and here you're now going into the Big 12. And then, who knows what comes next. A lot of people expect you to eventually be playing on Sunday. So is there light in that tunnel, or does that stuff still kind of seem really far off? Like, how did I even get here?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, it is pretty far off. I try to stay in the moment personally. Obviously that's the ultimate goal for me, and getting there by all means possible. But I need to live in the moment. Work myself to exhaustion every day, get better every day. And that'll hopefully be the end result for me. And I'm just trying to get there right now.
Lincoln Kira, our guest from Goodland. So we've talked about being an all-sport athlete. You play basketball, you do track and field. I'm sure you've tried other sports. You probably played baseball growing up, all the stuff that I think is important. So you've settled on football. Would that have been the sport you would have chosen 5 years ago? Was football always the sport that you kind of had your focus on?
Yeah. Football was always a huge love for me, but even at one point, I was more of a basketball player than, I was a good football player, obviously, but I think I liked basketball a little bit more than football. That was probably 8th grade, maybe freshman year, maybe even going into sophomore year. So, yeah, obviously that's changed a lot now, but no, it wasn't always the best love for me, I guess.
So, I was going to ask you about what your plans are for your senior year, but you said already you're going to do track, you're going to do basketball still. Obviously, you're going to play football, so you're not giving any of those up. What were the conversations like with Coach Kleiman, Taylor Brett, when you kind of told them, you plan to still continue playing all sports? Were they encouraging?
Yeah, no, they're really encouraging. I think a lot of people think that matters to coaches more than it actually does. Obviously it is great to get there. In January you get to develop a lot more. It's a lot more reps. But staying where I am, enjoying my senior year, giving back to my community, I think that's the bigger picture, and that's a personal thing I'd like to do. So, yeah, they're on board with it, and they even recommended that. So, because it is different for kind of small town people, but yeah, I'll still get to do meetings. I'll still get to do individual drills, lifts, all that. I'll kind of have all the information I need to be as prepared as possible when I get there in June.
Well, I personally applaud that. I think it's great. So before we let you go, the best thing about growing up in Goodland, Kansas?
Honestly, the community. It's one of the best communities in the world. Not even being biased towards it, but yeah, just the people around me. All credit to them. Love everybody here in Goodland. Everybody's just good people. Love the friends I've been surrounded by. So yeah, they've all kind of helped me to where I am today, and they've helped push me. So yeah, I appreciate them every day. It's the people.
Well, you'll be hearing from the Chamber of Commerce, Lincoln, no doubt. Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on the show. We look forward to following your football career, which we hope is long and prosperous. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
All right, Lincoln Cure headed to Kansas State to play football. You kind of just tell that it's all there,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
No insecurities with that kid.
Or at least none that he's
Or maybe they're
projected.
driving him.
Maybe. I doubt it, though.
Well, you never know.
What's to be insecure about?
You never know. Right?
Well, maybe when he gets into Division I, where it's not just sheer domination every day over your opponents, that he'll develop some insecurities, and they will drive him to be even better.
Well, I had kind of that same thing growing up in Derby, that dominance over my opponents.
Like who?
Oh, you know, the Blue Dots.
Oh, yeah.
We dominated them
Of course.
as a red dot.
As you should.
I could write a book about the dot system for
Well, this is now the second
Little League
time
baseball.
you've talked about writing some sort of autobiography just in this show.
We all
so-
remember what dot we were. If you grew up in Derby in the 60s.
Wasn't there a weird named team in one of my leagues?
I don't remember.
Ninja Turtles. There
Something
was-
like that, but
there's
not
one
a
of
dot.
those. No
They
dots.
just put a colored dot on the front of a T-shirt.
Yeah, they were cheap.
That's all they did.
No uniforms back in those days.
No.
Did you wear jeans?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It was crazy.
T-shirt and jeans, and this is our ball club.
That's it. Roll
we're
them out.
We're the Red Dots.
I don't think I had a full uniform until probably 11, 12.
Where you had actual baseball pants?
Had actual baseball pants.
Did you wear belts in those days?
Sure.
Interesting.
I love the stirrup look of those days.
Yeah, stirrups are fun.
Here's Paul Solentrop from GoShockers.com, Wichita State Strategic Communications. He's recently, of course, he does a lot of work every day for GoShockers.com. Podcasts, writing. It's amazing what you've become, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for mentioning that. We're all working hard for the taxpayers of the great state of Kansas here at Wichita State University, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
No question. So you recently kind of went through the highlights of the 2023-24 school year. Give us a taste of what caught your attention.
What caught my attention? Well, we within a university, when you have 15 varsity sports, you're always going to have lots of highlights. You're always going to have some lows. So I have a algorithm where I calculate things and went through the whole school year trying to pick out the highlights. I think we leaned toward individual accomplishments this year at Wichita State. For example, I had Addie Barnard, softball, her entire career, and then she put a big old highlight on it at the end in the conference tournament. She was number one. Destiny Masters, All-American in the multi-events, indoor and outdoor, NCAA, same with high jump. She was number two. And then as you go down the list, Wichita State's adding women's bowling. That's a big deal for the bowling program and for the athletic department. That was on the list. Volleyball winning the postseason tournament. The NIVC is on the list. So this is kind of a look back at what went on at Wichita State and what were the highlights.
You've got basketball number 4, building on late season success. They went on a little mini run at the end of the season and in the conference tournament. Does that portend things to come, do you believe, for the men's basketball program this season? Could they rank even higher? Did I use portend right is the next question.
Portend is a good word. You mean, do I think they will rank higher next year in this list?
Yeah.
Boy, that would be great. And I guess I think they certainly could. And this is where, you're making these lists and you're always part of the fun of it is debating and discussing. And, the men's basketball season was not a great season. They finished strong, but there's intense interest in men's basketball. So in my mind, that would bump them up on a list like that, winning at UAB late in the season and then beating Memphis in the conference tournament, that got a lot of people excited. A lot of people follow Shocker basketball. So that would move them up in kind of rankings over maybe a sport that doesn't have as high a profile with that. But yeah, I think I've been watching some practices this summer with the Shockers, and I think the vibe is that they've got 8 people returning, which seems like a pretty good number in this current era. The people that want to be here are here. I think they feel like practices are really competitive. Paul Mills has had now a year to recruit and shape the roster and understand the competition in the American Athletic Conference. So you would think those are all pluses and would start to pay off.
Paul Suellentrop, our guest. He's been around Wichita State athletics as a beat writer first at the Wichita Eagle for many years, and now in Wichita State strategic communications staff. So you've been spending some time talking to some of these newcomers in men's basketball. What are your impressions?
I talked to 4 and did a podcast interview with 4 of the newcomers: Corey Washington, Zane Meeks, A.J. McInnes, and Justin Hill. I guess the one thing that was really interesting, I asked all of them greatest NBA player. They all went with LeBron James over Michael Jordan, which is kind of a shift over the years. I would guess that's generational, but they all immediately answered LeBron, and several of them said that the game has changed, and they feel like LeBron is playing in a tougher era of NBA basketball. So I thought that was interesting. From a Shocker perspective,
that's just ridiculous. I hope you called them out on it on the podcast.
Tougher.
I delved into that. I wanted to know more about why they thought that way. From a Shocker perspective, I think several of them answered what they liked about the team or their early impressions of practices, and they've been at it for a couple weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks. I think they all like the amount of experience on this team. There's a lot of seniors. There's a lot of people who have been through a lot of college basketball, so I think that has stuck out early in practice to them, that they feel like it's a mature, both mentally and physically team, that there's guys who know how to play college basketball. Several of them talked about Paul Mills and what they enjoy about his approach from, how did he recruit them here and what's it been like being around him in practice. And, of course, they mentioned the things that we've started to learn about Paul, being detail-oriented, the offense, the spacing, how he likes things run. So those were probably 2 of the things that jumped out to me as far as kind of themes through the 4 interviews.
So you had a couple moments, obviously dedicated to softball. You mentioned Addie Barnard. We always get that.
I thought you had that.
Yeah, usually I do. We missed it this time, and how great her career was, maybe the second greatest career in Shocker softball history, and CeCe Wong winning Player of the Year in the conference. Both of those players are seniors. Obviously, Sydney McKinney is no longer there. Does the softball team have a next real big star looming on the horizon, or is it going to be a team-wide approach kind of thing?
I would think it would be a little more team-wide. Losing those kind of athletes is pretty significant. CeCe Wong was only here for a year, but, boy, just had an incredible year. And I don't think they're done, adding and recruiting with the transfer portal, so I would expect we'll probably see some additions. They do get Lauren Lucas back, and I believe she was 3rd-team All-American 2 years ago and then got hurt, so she didn't play, and I think she led them in RBIs 2 years ago, so she's an excellent player. Taylor Slodchek has really made progress both of her years. She'll be a junior. Saying that someone's, again, with Sydney McKinney and Addison Barnard, those are 2 really high goals to set. So maybe a little bit more like maybe it was in 2018, where it was more up and down the lineup kind of a thing, as opposed to having, just kind of first team, second team All-Americans.
Final moments here with Paul Suellentrop from Wichita State Strategic Communications. You and I have talked about Shocker athletics for a long time. We've always felt like women's basketball could be a sleeping giant, although it hasn't been awakened very often. Is there hope for women's basketball? Do you think Terry Nooner is on the right track?
I do. And I think that, I guess when I think about the athletic program overall, and women's basketball to be part of this, is there's been such transition over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and now we're going to get a chance to see what do programs look like with stability, both in the coaching staff, but in athletic director, and even at the in the president's office at Wichita State. So Terry Nooner would obviously be a part of that. They bring back a lot of people from last year, which again feels pretty good in this current climate. They kind of like the men, had their ups, had their downs, and you've got to trust that he can. He's the coach that can pull them together. Second year, he's had time to recruit. He'll have a returning core that knows how he likes things run, and that's where they are. But yeah, you and I have had that conversation many times. There's a lot of basketball fans in this area, and if you can find a way to capture them, that would seem to be a big plus in an area where Wichita State could really make some headway.
All right, Paul, as always, we appreciate it. Have you had your I know you were either on your way to or on your way home from Arkansas. Have you had your summer excursion?
Went down to Arkansas over the 4th of July to hang out on the lake and do all that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, it was a good time. Beautiful state.
All right, thanks, Paul. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Paul Suellentrop, Wichita State Strategic Communications.
You know what they have in Arkansas, don't you?
What's that?
Bojangles.
Well, I've never been to a Bojang.
Oh, man, you're missing out.
What do they have?
It's a chicken place. Chicken
we went
and biscuits.
to, what's the place we went to the other day? Not you and me, but Sicky's Garage.
Yeah.
And Bar out on Mays Road. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Really?
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
What was so good about it?
I don't know. I like the atmosphere. I like going to have meals with John Murphy. He's just been a friend for so long, and I like.
What does he offer up conversation-wise?
John's a fascinating man. Love him.
Good guy.
Yeah. And what do you offer up conversation?
Oh, anything you
Nothing.
want. Absolutely anything you want.
I think I saw it. That's about it.
I don't know if I saw it or not. What are we talking about?
Right, exactly. John actually has replies.
Well, good for him.
We have great banter.
Well, you are.
And his wife Rhonda, who was not in town Saturday, so it was just John. But we always have fun with them.
What'd you order at Sicky's?
I got the kind of the breakfast burger. They got 5 million hamburgers. This came with an egg on it, bacon, and tater tots.
Really? Not sure how I'd feel about that.
It was good. I couldn't eat it all. It was crazy. And then this weekend, if I have any time, we're going to go to Barrel Boys Barbecue right over here.
That sounds fantastic.
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it for you.
You never experiment.
With barbecue?
You're always going to the same old places.
Not true at all.
What's the last time you stepped outside of...
I don't know. I can't really think of any time. But a lot of times it's going where my wife can eat. And she has a pretty strict set
we
of
understand
places.
that. And hopefully she'll continue to find more and more places.
Yeah, it had a little bit of a reaction to the pizza.
That's not good.
I think she ended up being okay.
All right, hour number 2 coming up. We will play the Bob and Jeff Draft. You got a category. I won the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah. Well,
what do you have? What do you have today?
Not sure yet.
You come up with it.
I'll come up with something.
I thought about something just pretty simple, like since we're doing females in the music, girl names.
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because that's weird.
It's kind of weird. What about boys' names?
Also pretty weird.
If you were having a kid today, what would
you can't find that on the radio.
Yo, turn to that station.
Radio you can touch.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
We'll talk a lot today as soon as Jeff is capable.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Jeff Lutz.
You're not making any sense.
Oh, that's true.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Are you ready? Let's go!
Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show on KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz, here to co-host. Max Power, producing and engineering the show. 869-1240. That is the IHOP hotline. So we got an hour to go. We'll do a Bob and Jeff draft. We also have tickets to give away to the NBC World Series. So take advantage of that. All you have to do is text STRIKE to 20357 to become eligible to win tickets to the NBC World Series, which begins later in the month, as does the TBT. So we're on the cusp of some big things.
A lot of big stuff going on.
Not there yet.
Not quite.
What'd you come up with a category?
We're going to go with dog names. You wanted to do names, we're going to go dog names.
Dog names, huh?
Yeah.
Why is that less weird than girl or boy names?
I think for obvious reasons.
What's weird about it?
It's just weird. It's just weird.
Everybody who has a kid names a kid.
Yeah, but we're going to go best names for
best
people?
names.
Okay, well, we're doing dog names. It's a nice little compromise for everybody.
Cody would be one of my names.
Well, you'd lose.
Why?
Why do you come up with?
Oh, I don't know.
You
I
don't
like
think
the
that's
name
weird?
Cody.
You don't think that's weird? Just say, hey, it's random. I like the name Cody.
I don't know. Cody doesn't seem to get the respect it once did.
I didn't know many Codys.
Cody Rhodes, Cody.
Is that why you like the name Cody? Because of Cody Rhodes?
Cody Rhodes is a great name. Cody Rhodes, sounds good.
What about Cody Runnels, which is his actual name?
Not as good. But Cody Rhodes,
yeah, it's good.
All day long. Alliteration's a key to a name. Bob Lutz, not there for me.
Why didn't you give me some alliteration?
What would I, Louis Lutz?
Lucas or something?
Lucas Lutz? Oh, that sounds just awful.
Why?
Lionel Lutz.
That's awful.
Larry Lutz. Lawrence Lutz.
Latavius.
There's nothing to do with Lutz. You can't pretty it up. It's just there. It's a one-syllable, right in your face name that you can't do anything with it.
You can get a tattoo.
I don't care about your tattoo.
You don't like my tattoo?
No, I didn't say that. I said I don't care about your tattoo.
But artistically, what do you think of the?
I don't care. I really haven't even looked at it.
Well, check it out.
I don't. Tattoos don't interest me, and I don't know when they started interesting you.
Long ago.
Or started to interest you. I don't understand it.
I like them.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think it portrays?
It's just a way to express yourself.
Can't you express yourself in many other meaningful ways?
Who says it's not meaningful?
I do.
Well, that's your interpretation. Mine would be different. See, we don't project.
I've never even known anyone who well, that's not true. I've never had a friend who got a tattoo.
Never?
No, I don't think so.
Not a single friend of yours.
Not that I grew up with.
Has a tattoo.
Nobody from my Derby life.
Really?
Not that I'm aware of.
Tattoos aren't really your generation.
What do you mean?
I don't think boomers are tattoo folks.
Of course they are. They're the ones who actually...
Yeah, they do dumb tattoos.
What's a dumb tattoo?
It's something around your arm or a heart with mom and the arrow through it. Just the stuff that doesn't really mean anything.
Well, none of that means anything. I couldn't tell you anything that means.
Oh, I could.
Isn't
that the point?
Just a bunch of images.
Yeah, and it's colorful and it's nice. Are we going to have to watch the Cardinals the rest of the show?
What are you going to do when you're 70 when you have those? And your skin begins to, deteriorate, and it's just going to be so ugly.
Well, Really?
Yeah.
What a dumb thing to say, I think.
Well, I mean,
That
everybody who gets a tattoo should think about
That takes
that.
nothing into account. If my skin's ugly, it's going to be ugly regardless of whether I have a tattoo on
But
it
the
or not.
tattoos will deteriorate, and there'll be all kinds of,
Well, then that'll happen.
Well, I wish you the best.
But for now, I'm going to enjoy it.
Good.
Thank you.
I don't sense that you're. Well, maybe you're enjoying it.
Why wouldn't I be? I have 8.
I guess you're enjoying it.
I must
don't
be.
know. There's so many other things in life to enjoy, but tattoos.
That guy's got one of the pitcher for the Nationals. There's something must speak to us about tattoos.
You do what you can, right?
Yeah, just go through life and live life. Who really cares how you do it if you're not bothering anybody
Everybody
else?
has their own thing.
Correct.
Dan Hurley, 6 years, $50 million to coach UConn. Could have made more with the Lakers.
Quite a bit.
Likes
Well,
to be in
not
the
quite.
college game. Very wealthy, no matter what. I believe that's the highest paid college coach, although I'm not 100% sure on that one.
You don't think anybody's...
Bill Self might make more. Let's get to Bob, who's holding on the IHOP hotline.
Is this future Bob?
Hello, Bob.
Yeah, this future Bob.
Future Bob! Thanks for calling back.
Hey, I was wondering if you guys saw the preseason rankings of football for the Big 12.
I did see those. I glanced at them. I don't really ever get too much into preseason rankings. But the Big 12 is going to be all over the place depending on who's doing the rankings. There's not going to be a consensus about who's a favorite in the Big 12. There's 4 to 5 teams who could actually be in that position.
Yeah. I think I saw it was Utah favored to win it, the Utes. I believe.
Not a big surprise. I think, again, there are a lot of teams that could potentially win it. If you look at KU's schedule, at least on paper, as of right now, it does not look incredibly difficult. So KU should be a trendy pick.
Utah, K-State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Arizona, Iowa State, your top 6.
Okay.
Arizona, not Arizona State. I think I said Iowa State. I think you could get I think those top 5 are all viable. I'm not sure about Iowa State. And there'll be somebody from lower that exceeds expectations. And there'll be one of those 5 teams that don't meet expectations.
Yeah. Well, I think KU preseason was 4th. I hope their quarterback, if he would stay, boy, he's been hurt these last couple seasons, but, boy, I think they can really make a move if he stays healthy.
No
doubt about it.
Completely agree. Bob, thank you. We appreciate hearing from you.
Okay, take care.
All right.
So what do you think
go.
of Bob's call?
I like Bob.
Well, you would. That's
I like
you.
that catch by Michael
That's
Ciani
you in
better.
15 years.
What do you mean? What
We've already had this.
Explain what you mean about that.
That's just a guy who's going to sit. You're just going to sit around, maybe call a sports show. And what do you think about the Big 12 this year, fellas?
That's what I'm going to do.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you think of me. That I'm just going to sit around and call a sports show.
Well,
and
that's what
ask
Bob
about the
does. Are
Big
you
12.
insulting Bob?
That's what you think I'm going to do.
Are you insulting?
No, I'm asking
future Bob.
You really think that's what I'm going to do?
I don't know. Are you? What will you do at
You
84?
just said it.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to do.
Okay. Well, go on the record. Don't hide.
Nobody's hiding.
Don't hide from it.
You're the one, kind of taking it seriously.
Not taking anything serious.
You seem to get upset about that.
I just don't like making light of our callers.
Oh, he enjoys it. He keeps calling.
I don't like it.
I'm not making light of our callers.
A caller. What's the word I'm looking for?
Advocate.
If you take the time to call this show, you're going to be treated by me.
I think I
with the
treated Bob
utmost
great.
respect. I'm not going to call you Future Bob.
He said it's Future Bob.
Yeah, to get you off his back.
You know what? Playing along is a lot better than getting upset.
Bob, and I'll never call him Future Bob, but Bob, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Future Bob, for the call.
I'll tell you right now, he doesn't like that.
He does too.
Max, the next time Bob calls, I want a full inventory of what he thinks about that.
Or you could just call back right now and tell Max and have Max pass
Bob,
it along.
call Max and tell him. You don't have to come on the air. Tell him your thoughts about being tagged as Future Bob by one of the hosts of this show. You don't have to talk for long. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you feel like it shows you respect? I'm curious to know.
He got glossed.
I'm not Jim Rome around here.
You can't.
I run a radio show in which all callers are respected.
Really?
And
well, that's nice.
That's what I do.
So that's sweet.
And you can't point out a time in my life where I haven't.
Never.
No, give me one.
Never.
Give me one.
That has
right
never
now.
happened.
Give me one where
You know what? It's amazing. I do not have a full call log and your responses to each call that's ever been made.
You'd have an example, wouldn't you?
No, I don't think I would. That doesn't sound reasonable or feasible.
Well, that bodes well for me and my assertion that I'm always good to call.
Or maybe you're so often not good to callers that those are the ones that kind of run together. Maybe we need an example of you being nice to somebody.
Max has Bob called back? Okay, well, maybe he
really
won't.
like it.
Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, we're going to do a Bob and Jeff draft. It's going to be dog names. Max, do you own a dog?
His cats.
I own 2.
Really?
2 dogs. What are their names?
2 dogs, 2 cats.
What are the dogs'
Madden
names?
and Callie.
All right. That's a good one. You know, these are just going to be, I don't know, if you go with stereotypical dog names,
Well, you can do that, or you can come up with...
I named a dog Scipio once.
Well, then maybe
After
that'll be
who?
on...
You ask?
Yeah.
Former big league pitcher Scipio Spinks. I was a huge fan of him when he came through here to pitch against the Arrows for Oklahoma City at the time. And he later became a Cardinal. And I believe, now he's passed away, I believe we interviewed him on Sports Daily back in the day.
Very possible.
And I shared that story with him. Naming a dog Scipio.
You think he took that?
I think he loved it.
Okay, well then, I don't know why Future Bob should be a problem.
All right, we'll be back. The Bob and Jeff draft on a Monday edition. Tomorrow, right now, tentatively, it's Jeff and Jason Duda. Thursday and Friday, both 3-man booth days. Back in a minute.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
All right, time for the Bob and Jeff draft here on our show. We do this most Mondays. We each pick 8 in a particular category. We like to compete, so the best list gets bragging rights for the week. I tend to win these more often than not.
Sure.
And we're going to go today with...
What, are you one of your last 6?
Dogs' names. Flip the coin.
Call it.
Heads.
Heads.
I'll let you go first.
All right, I'm going to take, these are all just like personal taste, so I'm going to take Roscoe.
Roscoe?
I think that's a good name.
Here, Roscoe. I can't stand it.
You don't have to like it.
It indicates a brusqueness, a toughness that I don't want in a dog. I will go with...
Dog can be whatever it wants to be.
I'll go with Jack.
Come here, Jack.
I love the name Jack. And my second one will be, boy, it gets tougher now. In honor of our friend at KNSS, Teddy.
Really?
Jack and Teddy.
There's ever been a dog named Teddy?
I may just stick to presidents' names.
No, we've never had a Jack.
John F. Kennedy. Next.
I don't think that counts. I'm going to go with Scout. I enjoy Scout.
Not bad, but...
And I'm going to also go with Milo.
All right, dogs' names, the category. We're each picking 8. I am going to go with another president. Kind of like the name Charlie. Charles.
All right, have we had a Charlie?
Haven't we?
I don't think so.
Maybe we haven't. Surely we have.
I don't think so.
Charles.
I don't. Nope.
Well, there certainly should be a president.
There should
named
now.
Charles. Next, I'll go with Misty. I can't avoid Misty.
Why wasn't she your first pick?
Misty,
That's
where are you?
kind of embarrassing. I'll go with.
Well, here's the thing. Misty's a rescue dog, so we didn't have the opportunity to name her.
I understand that,
but we've grown to obviously love the name Misty, and so she's on my list.
I'm going to go with Baxter.
Baxter. Never in all my years have I known a dog named Baxter.
Well, you haven't known many dogs then. And I'll go with Coco. It's a good little list. It's a good little list I'm putting together.
I'll go in honor of our great producer, Max. Max. Here, Max. I mean, how could you not love that?
For a guy who doesn't like toughness or roughness, Jack.
And in honor of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the handsome one, Harley.
Ever been a dog named Harley?
Jack, Teddy, Charlie, Misty, Max, and Harley. I don't know how you're going to beat that.
By being better. I'll go with Marley.
Marley. People will think of Marley and Me, and they'll never vote for that.
Only the most famous dog movie ever to come out. But yeah, why would they want to think of that one?
Because it was a horrific movie.
Then don't watch it.
Emotionally wrecked me. Next. Now you've turned the whole thing off.
That a dog lived a long life with a great family, and I mean, I don't know what's so sad. I mean, I understand. I'm gonna go with Zeke.
What do I have? 2 more here. In honor of my good friend Maggie and Wayne, they have a current dog named Cooper. I like that name. And to get another girl name in there, I'm going to pick Daisy. And my list is complete.
It's a good one. I'm going to go. I think I'll go Curly to round this out.
All right.
Pretty good list.
My list: Jack, Teddy, Charlie, Misty, Max, Harley, Cooper, and Daisy. I'm honoring a lot of my friends and acquaintances with my list.
We'll go for that.
What's yours?
Roscoe, Scout, Milo, Baxter, Coco, Marley, Zeke, and Curly.
let's bring in our producer engineer for the sake of one of the dogs I picked. Not that I expected that to have an effect on
Of course you
how
did.
he would vote. But I did pick Max as one of my names. Let's bring in Max. Max, what do you think?
Hold on, Max. Before you...
This guy, Michael Ciani, by the way, it's just amazing how many catches he makes.
Before you begin,
What's
Max,
that catch?
his dog left while he was naming dogs. If that plays into the list at all.
First of all, Bob, Marley and Me was sad, but did you ever see A Dog's Life? Oh.
Yes, and I shouldn't have seen that either.
Yes, don't ever burn all copies of that movie. Oh, my God.
It just too much for me. So what do you think, Max?
It's best to see what Twitter says. I don't know. I kind of like Jeff's list a little better. He has more. Like, I like Zeke and Curly.
Well, I'll never name anything after you, Max.
Big.
In fact,
See, he
He
turned
named
on
something
you
at the Stooges.
right after he said he didn't care.
You know.
in fact,
It's impossible.
can I fire you?
It's impossible. Please. It's impossible to pick out of these lists.
Of course, it's impossible, but that's the beauty of the Bob and Jeff draft. We'll see what the Twitter followers come up with at Bob Lutz. If you want to get involved, go to twitter.com or whatever that other name is, .com, and you can cast your vote in the latest Bob and Jeff draft. If I had a dog, the only names that Jeff mentioned that I would consider would be Scout and Zeke.
You don't want a dog named Milo? How cool is that?
Those are the only two I'd even consider.
Okay.
How many of mine would you consider?
Probably all of them.
Thank you.
Because they're all good dog names.
Well, there you go.
Dogs are cool. Cats are cool. Pets are cool. We shouldn't eliminate any name. We should get to know them a little bit.
There's your winner, as Jeff just stated. So we had the All-Star picks. We briefly talked about that. In hour number one, the Royals with 4, including 2 of their starters, Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, Bobby Witt Jr., and Salvador Perez. So well represented in the All-Star game on the Kansas City Royals, who have not been playing as well of late.
Not at all. They had a good stretch against the Guardians, unfortunately for me, but I think they're like 6-16 or 7-16 in their last 22, 23 games. So it hasn't been going super
they
great.
They built up enough capital to get 4 All-Stars.
Yeah, and they're
Salvador Perez has been struggling. Bobby Witt's kept it pretty steady, as have the 2 pitchers.
Right. They're never going to be a team that you look at as really suffering too much because of their pitching. But, yeah, I'm sure they want the offense to start getting better. They looked like they were doing that again against the Guardians, but haven't sustained it before or since.
Well, the Guardians got to get some starting pitching.
It wouldn't hurt.
And I thought they had all this starting pitching. That's all you told me about before the season started.
Max,
replay it.
I don't think that's what happened, considering
wasn't
out
there
for the year.
Time that this team looked set up for starting pitching?
Yeah, it hasn't really worked out that way necessarily. But you had 3 rookies come up last year.
That's the problem with pitching.
You had 3 rookies come up last year who did well. Gavin Williams made his first start last week. Logan Allen is in AAA, and Tanner Bybee is doing pretty well. McKenzie is in AAA. Bieber's hurt.
We'll see. I don't put a lot of stock in their pitching.
Oh, that's fine. They have the best record in the American League, so the other portions of their game must be stupendous.
They've hit better than anybody could have imagined.
Anybody?
I'll give them that. And when are you gonna tout this Stephen Vogt guy? You never say a word about him. Isn't he?
I think this past weekend was just them setting our fans up for him to go to the Giants whenever Bob Melvin steps away.
Well, why do you say that? Where's that insecurity come from?
Oh, he grew up a Giants fan. He loves Bob Melvin. He was his mentor. He lives on the West Coast. We're losing him. Hopefully we can get a good 4 or 5 years out of the kid before he bails on us.
Well, you better hope he doesn't go after this year.
He's not going anywhere after this year.
Bob Melvin may decide, this isn't for me anymore.
We molded Stephen Vogt. He owes us.
Well, we'll see.
Some degree of loyalty.
Some degree.
But, you never know how long he's going to stay.
Maybe he'll want to be there.
He's apparently a natural at the position of manager.
Well, we'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oliver Marmol won 93 games his first year. Now, I happen to think he's a good manager. You've never heard me complain about him.
Why not?
Because I think he's a good manager. I think he had a learning curve. I think he mishandled Wilson Contreras last year, but they've mended that. And I think what he's doing with this team this year, they have the third worst run differential in the National League. And they're 5 games over 500. And he's managed the bullpen well. I hope he doesn't burn it out. But
everybody's worried about
I'm relatively
that.
Pleased right now.
Well, good.
Still not a John Mozeliak fan. Still critical of him.
Well, he's got some work to do this month as well.
We'll see. We'll see what the Cardinals can pull off. They've been historically pretty good at the trade deadline.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Adding the pieces that they need.
Pretty good. They don't really go make the big splash. 2 years ago, it was Quintana and John Lester. And I was livid.
No, that wasn't 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was Happ and Lester for one. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, that was 3 years ago. It was Quintana and Montgomery. And I wasn't livid then. I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
And those were 2 good ones. But Lester and Happ the year before, I couldn't have been more upset. And they
did pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the last gasp of John Lester's career, basically.
And we'll see what they do this year. They could certainly add a pitcher. Got to.
Andre Palante has been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, but they still need help. Lance Lynn's showing signs of wearing down. I like Gibson. Sonny Gray's been... I said this early in the year, and Cardinals fans came after me. I said Sonny Gray is an ideal number 2 starter on a really good team. And, boy, they just attacked me. And then Sonny Gray went on a run where he was outstanding, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I missed that one. But he's pitched like a number 2 starter.
Well, number 2 starters do have
number
runs of
2
being...
starters are very valuable.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, ours has been lively.
Yeah, that's scary.
A little bit.
Well, that's very scary.
I know.
Ours is Kyle Gibson.
That's why we're trying to improve.
Kyle Gibson's been better than I could have imagined. But I don't know how much faith I have. Meanwhile, the Royals number 1 and 2 are Lugo and Reagans, and number 3 is Singer. They've got a top 3 that could go into any playoff series and be dangerous. They just got to get some hitting.
Oh, they got to get to the playoffs.
I wouldn't want to play them.
Well, you wouldn't want
a wild card game with Cole Reagans? No.
There's no wild card game anymore. It's a best of 3, but your point still.
I don't want to play him.
Your point still stands. What if they're playing the Red Sox and they got Crawford and?
Bring them on.
Houck.
Bring them on. Who's their third?
I don't know.
Right. They don't have nearly what the Royals.
Brian Bello. He's pretty good.
He's okay. They're not the Royals.
No, but
I'd put the
they
Royals
hit way
in the
better
top
than the Royals.
5 at the top of their rotation.
Well, I don't think anyone would argue with that.
Let's look at that.
But let's hit Royals.
I'll tell you who the top 5 are. If you're interested.
I mean, I'm interested. Why don't you rattle that off the top of your head and then see
I
how you
will
did?
rattle it off. The Phillies would certainly be there.
Yeah, they're deep. They go deeper than the top.
I believe the Orioles would be there. I believe the Mariners would be there. I believe the Royals would be there. And, boy, it gets tough after that.
Dodgers?
Who's that fifth team?
Could be the Dodgers.
You know who it might be, crazy as it sounds? Now, Jared Jones just went on the disabled list. But with Skeens, Jones, and Keller, the Pirates.
It's not bad.
Might be that fifth team.
Another team
I don't want to deal with them the next 5 years, I'll tell you that right now.
If they can find some offense.
They will.
They've tried. Hasn't really worked out so far.
They will. They scare me. The Reds scare me to some degree, although they've taken a step back due to injuries.
And no pitching. I mean, their pitching's okay.
They scare me on pitching, too. With Hunter Green and Ashcroft and who's that other cat?
Abbott. Lodolo.
They got guys.
Sure.
Not sure. Yes, sir.
Sure.
No, yes, sir.
They'll be all right.
They scare me. But I think I came up with a pretty good top five.
Not bad.
And I said this last week on the show. Arizona's worth keeping an eye on with their pitching.
If the White Sox had a third, even as the worst team in baseball.
Fetty's okay.
Fetty's really good.
No, he's not really
yes,
good.
He is.
He's good.
No,
he's not really good.
Yes, he is. Look at the numbers.
There's a rare side, a Paul Goldschmidt home run. Thank you, Paulie. Now we're getting it going. Eric Fetty is a good pitcher.
He is really good.
I don't know how you can say that. There's just no way that you can give me Eric Fetty as being
four
really
win pitcher already. 4 wins above replacement. 94 strikeouts.
He's 6-3 with a 3.13.
Yeah, for the worst team in baseball. I'll take that.
He's a good pitcher.
He's really good.
No.
Yeah, he is.
Didn't make the All-Star team.
Well, they had one All-Star.
Only really good pitchers make the All-Star.
That's not true. Hunter Gaddis didn't make it.
No.
Best bullpen in baseball, we got our closer. That's it.
Well, good luck. Good luck to you. Well, that's all you need. I got my closer in.
Well, I hope we get to face him. Hope it's what's his name, Helsley Kwan with the game on the line.
We'll blow him away. He'll be lucky to get his bat to the ball. Be lucky to make contact. I'll just put it that way.
He only makes contact every time he swings.
Yeah, not against Ryan Helsley.
Against everybody.
I love Ryan Helsley.
Good, you should.
And I'm glad the Cardinals are playing better. It's good for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's much better for me because I put so much stock into baseball. And I'm so loyal to the game. And if there's a more deserving person out here in American society that needs their team to be at least watchable.
There's plenty more deserving people.
It's me.
I don't think so.
My wife would disagree with you.
You're not even the most deserving person in this room.
My wife would very strongly disagree with you.
Well, that's good that she loves you. I would
I'm
be
just a
concerned
happier
if she
person.
didn't.
I'm looking forward to this period of time now after the League 42 season, which, by the way, ends tonight at McAdams Park. We have 2 championship games. I'll be coaching in one of them on the West Field at 6:30 if you're so inclined to come by. Looking forward to it. But anyway, after tonight, I'll be able to watch more live baseball rather than coming home and catching the highlights.
Nothing wrong with it.
Lars Nootbaar back for the Cardinals. Were you aware of that?
Nope, I was not.
Just lined a shot up the middle. So,
Welcome
yeah.
back, Lars.
Huh?
Welcome back, Lars.
Well, he gets hurt a lot. So how long can he be healthy? That's the question.
Hopefully a long time for your sake.
You don't care.
For your sake.
You don't care a thing about the Cardinals anymore.
That's accurate, but I care for your sake.
Which is sad. All right, tomorrow on the show, I think it'll be Jeff and Duda. I think I need a day.
Well, why don't you just let me know for sure?
Yeah, I'll let you know later.
Thank you.
That looks like the lineup for tomorrow. I'll be back on Wednesday. I look forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you then.